Here with us today we have Christian Hedwitschak's Coreline series of bodhráns. As a matter of fact, I've got a bunch of them sitting around here by my feet that I'll pick up and show you. I wanted to put this video together because there are a lot of different ones. I wanted you to hear the differences. Also, I kind of wanted to explain what Christian was seeking to do when he put together the Coreline. The Coreline can be summarized as a bodhrán that has all the things that you need and none of the things that you don't. So it's a professional level instrument. It sounds as good as it looks. But it doesn't have necessarily the fanciest veneers. You know, some of Christian's bodhráns on the high-end line, they're more expensive partly because the veneers are more exotic and they're harder to come by, that sort of thing. Whereas the Coreline he's made using a lot of the same core features as his top-of-the-line drums, but he uses woods that are more readily available, such as this black cherry veneer. And so you can get these without a long wait time like some of his higher end bodhráns. I think what I personally love about the Coreline is, again, its price to performance. When I look at the Coreline, there's really no difference in the quality of workmanship from this to his high-end line. And so that's where I'm not a big fan of names sometimes, because, especially with Christian's drums, because all of Christian's drums are professional level instruments. They all sound amazing. So, but again, the Coreline is all about maximum performance at a reasonable cost. So with that, let me show you the variety of Coreline that we have to choose from. The one that I'm holding here is what he calls the Classic. Now the Classic is a 40 centimeter drum, and I suppose it's called the Classic because if you think about the bodhráns from back in the day, I mean, they were actually a bit bigger. Most of them were 18 inches in diameter. The Classic represents the largest in the series in terms of diameter, but it has more of a classic profile in terms of, the depth is 13 centimeters, so it's not super deep. It's very comfortable, 40 centimeter. So this would suit somebody that's just looking for a comfortable drum that's well balanced, and just a nice size, 40 centimeters. In the same 40 centimeter size, we also have the XL. Now, one thing I should say about the largest of these drums, the 40 centimeters, if you're looking for a drum that is maybe the loudest of the series, now none of these are crazy loud or crazy quiet. They're all plenty audible, no matter if you're playing in sessions to performing with a band on a stage, mic'd up. But the 40 centimeter, the larger you go with the drums, they do get a bit louder. So Classic is nice. You don't have to put a lot of effort into getting a nice volume, getting a nice sound out of it. So that's the Classic. Now, if you want a little bit more louder and prouder, the XL, which I'll show you here, it's just a little bit deeper. Same 40 centimeter size, but a little bit deeper. You're going to get a little bit more bass. So let me play you the Classic. So nice, well-rounded sound. It's very comfortable on the arm. With the shell not being too deep, 13 centimeter. Now I'll play you the XL. A little bit deeper shell, 15 centimeter. And you're gonna get a little bit more kind of focused bass sound. So, the truth is that a lot of this you may not notice in the recording, just because it can be tough, especially when you're at a single mic. I don't know, sometimes it's more felt as you're playing it, or your own experience as you're playing it. As I'm playing it, I'm sensing a little bit more kind of bass focus. It's a little bit bigger shell, so if having a larger shell is an issue for you comfort-wise, then you might stay away from this drum. But for me, I'm 5'9", 5'9.5", and it's plenty comfortable. So I can handle up to 15 centimeter, no problem. Now, if we got any deeper, I might struggle a little bit, but this one's no problem. So if you're looking for that kind of little bit bassier, bigger sound, the XL's for you. Classic, if you're looking for a larger drum but don't want the deep shell, maybe that one's for you. Now let's move a step down in size. The next one we have down in size is the Universal, and as you'll see here in a little bit, there's also 35 centimeter smaller drums. So what the Universal strikes the balance of is both in depth and in diameter. It's sort of a compromise. So it's not the biggest in the bunch, but it's not the smallest. It's also not the deepest. It's actually a 14 centimeter depth. So possibly a little bit more comfortable, for average size people like myself, with the depth. And then also the diameter is also sort of a nice size for, sort of average sized people like myself. But again, none of these drums are super big. You could play you could be 5'2" and play a 40 centimeter drum, and you could be 6 foot, whatever, and play the smaller drums. It's not really a problem, but it's oftentimes people do gravitate towards the drums that sort of ergonomically fit them. But you may be one that's looking for the sound, and you don't care so much if it's bigger or smaller. You're looking for that specific sound. So anyways, the universal sort of strikes the balance. It's kind of in the name, right? Universal. I think I mentioned before that all these drums feature Werner Edlauer's skins. Werner Edlauer, and I'm mispronouncing his first name probably in the last one too. It's a German name, and you roll the R's and that sort of thing. But he's world renowned for being one of the leading skin manufacturers. And that sounds kind of funny, but he's known for taking and selecting skins and treating them, and for different applications. And he's been working with Christian Hedwitschak, I believe, for about a decade now. They've been working together on getting the right kind of skins for Christian's different drums. One really cool thing is I visited Christian a while back and saw him go through skins and specifically pick the specific skin for the specific Coreline. So he's not just going to take any skin off the rack and put it on any Coreline. He's going to, just his experience tells him, say, this particular skin works better on a 40 centimeter drum, or this particular one works on, say, a 35. So that's a really great thing about Christian and Werner's, Edlauer's collaboration, is that he's able to provide Christian with the best skins, and then Christian's able to take his own expertise as a bodhrán maker and pair it with the right shell. So anyways, universal, just a great all-around drum. If you're one of those that just can't make up your mind as to what size to get, universal is a great option. So working our way smaller, we have two options on the smaller drums, one of which I don't have with me. There's a slim, which is this 35 centimeter size, but not as deep. It's like a 13 centimeter. What I have with me today is the bullet. Now the bullet does sound quite a bit different than these other drums here. These, and right now it's gone up a little bit in pitch. I'll tune it down, which is really handy. I mean, most bodhráns that you'll find, modern bodhráns that you'll find these days, do have toolless tuning systems. Christian's drums are no different. They have the star tuners, so it's really easy just to go around and tune it down. So quickly I was able to tune back down. I will say that the bullet has the most sort of unique sound of all of them, and it may be for some, not for others. What I think of it, the sound of, is being this modern, punchy, kind of progressive sound. It is a smaller drum, so those of you that are maybe a bit taller may not get along with it as much. Again, I'm pretty average size, 5'9", 5'10", somewhere in between there, and it's very comfortable for me. So a 35 centimeter diameter by 15 centimeter depth, and it's got this kind of very, what Christian likes to call a compressed sound. I call it kind of punchy, groovy kind of sound. So very groovy. Now, again, with this smaller size, you do lose a little bit of volume, but in my experience with most of the sessions that I play in, it's still plenty loud. 35 centimeters is still plenty loud. Oftentimes, other session mates appreciate you not having an overly loud instrument, something that blends in more with the group. So that is the bullet. Now the slim, I think I mentioned before, is 13 centimeter, so it's a small and narrow drum. If you're someone who's maybe shorter, slighter, or maybe you're looking for your son or daughter to get a drum to start out on, the Slim is a great way to go. Amazing sounding drum, very much like this, maybe not quite so punchy and obviously not so deep. I would not recommend this for a child as much because of the deep shell, but the Slim would be perfect. Now, one other option, and I know I've been talking a lot here, but there's a lot of drums here to cover. One other option, if you're somebody that, again, wants to find a drum that doesn't have all like the fancy veneers or whatever, you don't want to necessarily pay for all that kind of stuff, but are looking for a pro level drum like the Coreline, but know that someday you may want to try different skins. The Coreline Black was made for you. So it's a readily available drum. It's a great looking drum. And it's a 37 centimeter diameter. And what that enables you to do, well, it's a 37 centimeter diameter that has Christian's changeable head system. Now, that's really cool because that means that you can get this drum, hang out with the Ed Lauer Select Premium, the kind of go-to skin. But down the road, if you wanted to get a synthetic skin, or if you wanted to get a different kind of skin, like a deer skin, a dragon skin, spicy or regular, Christian makes a bunch of different skins. If you're somebody that's going to perhaps do more recording down the road, and you're finding that one particular skin, like say the Ed Lauer, maybe you want something a little bit brighter, or maybe you want something a little bit softer or whatever, you could then take this head off with the change head system and put on a different skin, no problem. The heads are quite affordable, the different skins, and they're pretty readily available. So again, the Coreline Black is for you. If you know that down the road you're going to want to try different skins, then the Coreline Black is great. If you're like many of us and you're just like, give me a great sounding skin, I just need a bodhrán to take, to play it when I'm, I want an good all around sounding skin, then the Ed Lauer Selects are Christian specifically picked and worked with Werner Ed Lauer to find a skin that really ticked all the boxes for most of us. Okay, so the black is really an option for those of you that are kind of like, like pushing the different shades of sound that you can get maybe in a recording, or depending upon who you're collaborating with, what you're trying to do, so that sort of thing. So I've said a lot. Let me play some more so you can kind of get a better sense for these drums. Do know that there's going to be slight tuning variances just due to the fact that they're all slightly tuned different. So, but I'll kind of maybe preempt each time I play one the difference that I sense as a player, and maybe that'll kind of help you make a choice.